Hello, Scrappy Peeps. Iris here with a process video for the Wild Hair Kits in April. So I am starting this off a little different. I am showing you how I'm pulling in the Perfect Pair cut file. It's a free cut file from Paper Issues. And I am going to alter it a bit because it's, I think, meant to be Valentine's-ish or for couples. And I'm going to use this for a layout about three little girls. So I really loved the text on here. The font is very playful with those little open O's and A's, and just some of the words like the milk, you're the milk to my cookies, and the sprinkles on my donut, and that sort of thing. So I thought that was really cute. But like I said, it was more appropriate for a couple. So here I am just choosing a piece up to put the milk to my cookies up above, because I'm also going to be covering part of it with the photo and journaling. And then I think I want to move this one over down here, but it's not quite going to fit because there's the line above that says you are the notes, and that's going to be cut off, and I thought part of that would show. So here I am selecting instead these three lines, and you've seen me. All I did was I release the compound path, and then as I select the lines I want, I group them, and then I duplicate them and bring them down. And that's how it's going to end up being. And here is the final product. There's the photo of my daughter and her two BFFs when they were in preschool, when they were little itty bitties. And I just love the look of this cut file, even the leftover words on my mat. I'm wondering if is there a way I can transfer that over or something. So, and this looks pretty cool white on white, but definitely using all the colorful papers from my kit. We've got three of them are from the Chamel box of crayons, and one of them is from Pink Fresh Studio, Let Your Heart Decide. And I'll even be using the clear cuts there with the stars that is Bella Boulevard. So I measured, and it would be perfect for 1-inch strips of paper. So I was just double checking that everywhere to make sure it didn't change. And here I came back after I cut myself some strips. So I am using a non-permanent adhesive right now, just in case I need to move things around. And I'm just putting the strips down. Yeah, there's not much else to say at the moment. Now here I'm not sure, because I know my photo is going to be sort of in the middle, sort of a little lower than the middle. So I was trying to figure out what the best, alternating of the colors would be. Thinking about what would be showing up at the bottom as well. And I did cut strips of the clear cut stars, but I find that they feel very off just being clear and the stars very plain. I'm trying out the backs of some of these papers, or I think in one case it might be the front. So that one with the polka dots, there's just too much white space. The clear stars, too much white space. This is the front of the Let Your Heart Decide without those hearts. It was just too much white space again. So I am definitely going for the darker colors. This one, which looks like a kaleidoscope, and it is from the Chamel box of crayons, is the only one that really has quite a bit of variety. But I think it still stands out really well. So I decide I do want the clear cuts, and I'm going to figure out what to do with it in a second. I just refuse to give up on using those. I tried the back side of this one, and it was too much variety as well. So I go out to my stash and get some pink cardstock, because you can see in the photo the girls each have some pink, and that is just way too light. It doesn't show up as much as the other colors. So I go off and get more of a magenta pink, which matches the dress that one of my daughter's friends has on. So that's what I settle on. So getting some adhesive on there, and I'm liking that variety so far. I just wanted to make sure that aqua paper has those dash lines, and I wanted to make sure a good amount of those show up in the letters. And then with this stars, you will see here that I am going to cut pieces off just so I can shift what's showing through the letters, so that definitely plenty of stars and less white space than if I just left the strip as is. There were going to be some letters that really didn't have any stars. And it's impossible to get them all uniform, and that's fine. That's part of the charm of using uh, non-solid papers behind these cut files. And now I am going to repeat the same pattern with the same papers, and it ends up being that I use the top two are going to repeat down in the bottom two rows. But I'm going to cut out here, and you can see the finished product there. I really love how that came out. So now I definitely want to emphasize my photo, but I am so enamored with the background that I don't really want to cover it up. So you're going to see me here cut some papers, and then I'm going to cut them down again, and then I'm going to cut them down some more as I try to decide what the best look for this is. Now, my first thought was to have some big blocks of paper layers, just like Chamel does. She's just the queen at doing big blocks of paper, and it just randomly, she cuts some rectangles and cuts some squares and cuts some strips and puts it all together, and it's magic. But I'm having trouble with that, just feeling like it's a big block. So here I am doing one of my first trims of that aqua paper, and then I am going to try maybe like I almost thought about doing a banner behind it, but here I'm auditioning the I call it kaleidoscope. I am not even sure which one it is. Let's see. I think it's this one's called Believe in You, and it's actually that's the back side of the one with the big polka dots, so you can't see them at the moment. So I'm trying to use that paper, and I just feel that it's too busy. So, oh, I had changed to permanent adhesive. You didn't see that part. So now I changed back to the temporary adhesive just so I could put these together a little bit more solidly and as I audition. So I'm still determined to use this. I cut it down further, and I thought, well, maybe I'll just put the papers haphazardly off-centered. There I am putting that one with the more on the bottom, and I don't know. It's just not a look that works well for me. So I'm gonna go with just having some of that green coming out of both sides. Here you can see I switched to that blue with the big round dots. That is the Pink Fresh Studio one, and I think it's technically called Caper, but it's a lighter blue, and I feel like it still helps give the photo some layers, but it's not going to compete with the background. And here I was trying out different lengths of the green, and I'm settling for just peeking out of the sides. And I didn't want to waste the whole one, so I just ended up cutting a couple of little strips, and you don't even know that it doesn't extend the whole way. There's this blue. Oh, I still give that paper one more try. I flip it over to the front with the polka dots. It's going to compete too much, so I'm going to go with more subtle, but still have the photo pop out. So here I am, I wanted to go ahead and also save paper instead of cutting the entire mat the size I wanted. I'm just trimming out to cut some strips, and I wanted the sort of the middle of they almost look like scallops now, but I wanted that part peeking out rather than like the rounded part peeking out. And there we go. And you can see I offset the blue and the green so they're not lined up in any way. Now, because the whole background is colorful words and I want my title to show up because the title was the impetus for this layout. It's one that I've always wanted to do. I picked stickers from American Crafts. This one's called Together. And the reason why I picked this one, it's black. 2, it is foam, which is my favorite, and I like just how dimensional that is. And 3, because there's all caps and the whole background is all lowercase. You've seen me here. I pulled a few things to try to do some layers behind the photo just so that I can have that title be up above the background and pop a little better. The doilies just didn't work. The white one, too clear. It didn't really stand out, and the black one was too much of that black peeking out. So here I am going through the die cut pack, and I was determined to use a few of those glitter gold. I am not a big gold fan, but I really like this gold. It's a muted gold, and I really wanted to use some. So I pulled those out in addition to another one I really wanted to use was that cute rainbows because, you know, rainbows. So I had to take those apart for a second because they're not really glued very well. But here I'm adding some more glue. So what I settled on for the rainbow is to have the rainbow sort of arcing into the photo, and that would bring your eye has a lot to see in this background, and I wanted to be able to direct the eye a little bit more. So I'm having the rainbow arc into the photo with the star sort of being the end of the rainbow and these 3 little cuties. And I wanted to use this journaling spot, so here I am just writing it out in pencil for now. The journaling says, Maya, you, Bailey, and Lauren were inseparable in preschool. We were all sad when you had to go to a different elementary school than them. You still see them at Bailey's birthdays, and I hope you will reconnect when you go to the same high school. Yeah, it's really sad. I miss these girls together. It's been, well, you know, this picture was taken in 2010 and it's now 2018, so it's been a long time since they've been together. Oh, this was actually, they had 1 more year of preschool after this, so yeah, but they were inseparable, the 3 amigas, we used to jokingly call them. I struggled a bit with these embellishments, so I wanted to include certain ones. Right now, you see I put the chipboard set for Project Life had numbers 1 through 10, and since there's 3 girls and this is about the 3 friends, 3 amigas, I wanted to use the 1, 2, and 3. But I had to figure out if I wanted those and all the other embellishments to float above the background or somehow match up with the background. So you can see so far what I've done is I've placed a lot of the stuff on the white areas of the background. Oh, here I am getting some more tape on. It really was a bit floppy without the permanent adhesive. And so a few of these larger items do float above the background. In fact, here I'm adding some what do you call them? Because I always want to say pop dots, but they're not dots. Some foam adhesive. Here we go. So I'm going to add some foam adhesive because the way it was looking, I just wanted it to kind of, like I said, float or be above the background. And of course, the journaling spot, those big items, you know, they're just sort of above. And but then there are the smaller ones like those chipboard numbers and a few other things you're going to see in a bit, where I was feeling like, okay, this isn't right. This is competing with the background, and it's just adding, it's making it more cluttered. And the beauty about this background is that although it has a lot of color, all the colors are contained within each line. Here I am just filling in my journaling with the pen because I felt that once I did that, I could get a better sense of everything. You know, just the darker pen. I don't know if it's true or not, but for me, I feel like you can get a better sense of how your eye wants to travel across the page if it's finalized, right? So here I am getting a couple of those sort of pinky, they're kind of coral chipboards. And like I said, I was placing them and they're sort of on the white, and something wasn't jiving with me with this. So I just keep moving things around. At least I settled on which camera I wanted, and I settled on the star pretty early. I try to use both hearts, and that open heart wasn't solid enough. So then I figured out that what I liked about that one sentiment in the middle that says, love these people, is that it matched the background of the photo quite well. And so that's where I decided to place that, and I moved that number 2 there. And this was also coming up, so I needed a good base for my thickers. So here I am finally getting to place those on. And I wasn't too worried about him being crooked because you know what? This is a kid layout. I wasn't worried about anything here looking perfect. I wanted it purposefully to be slightly messy. So the 3 amigas, here we are just getting them at least close. And that camera, oh yeah, here I was moving things up just to see if I should kind of line up the die cuts a little bit better, the clusters. But I really liked them a bit lower on that side. So here I am going, because I was determined to use a whole bunch of these little cute chipboard and these puffy stickers. Those puffy stickers are adorable. They are from the box of crayons. And I am usually a very literal scrapbooker, but they're just too cute, you know? So even though this picture was of 3 little girls and it had nothing to do with, you know, chameleon, which you'll see in a little bit, or a little lemon wedge, which you'll see in a little bit. I just loved that I could add those cute little unexpected touches. But here I am still trying to work the pieces on top, and then now that one plus sign above in the 2, that's where I hit upon the fact that I could just add these cute little guys, but within the letters, especially the letters that were a little rounder, like the O's. The A's are kind of rounded, and of course the hearts. So the chipboard that ampersand, I really wanted to use them, and that wouldn't fit that model of adding them to the color letters. So I decided to put it above on top of the star. And then to kind of echo that, I put that This Is Us chipboard on the heart across. And here I am adding more of the little cuties onto the hearts and the O's and the A's, and they sort of blend in. They're like a little unexpected surprise. There are a few things that I really wanted to use that didn't go well. When I put, like here, I'm putting that butterfly. The color is right, but then I felt like it was outside of the letter. It wasn't contained within the letters. So, and this heart there that I put that's pink, well, first of all, it's too light of pink, so I decided against it for that reason, but also it's also coming out of that O. There was a heart above. I don't know if you can tell. I missed when I was placing it on the heart U, that's the kaleidoscope kind of paper. It actually perfectly matched the two halves of that, what's peeking out of the O. I was just amazed at that. Half of it is blue, half of it is red. So here I am still trying to figure out the placement. That plus sign chipboard, the little green one, was perfect, only, you know, it was perfect size and whatnot, but it just wasn't the right shade of green. I really love the little light bulb puffies on this set too. I added the then because that goes along with the blue, but you know, sort of breaking my own little rule, those things are on top of the on top and touching other embellishments that sort of form the foreground rather than the background. So that's why it's there and it's not like within a letter. Trying to give you my reasoning. I feels like I struggled with this because it was a busy background that I wanted sort of to keep as a whole, and you still have to put the photo and, you know, if it's something you like, the embellishments, the layers, the clusters, you still want to add that sort of thing, but you want to get a good balance between background, which is really busy and cute, and foreground, which is also kind of busy and cute, you know? That's why I left a lot of this fiddling in. I want you to see, and I'm trying to explain to you my reasoning for moving things around. Here it was just a matter of that chipboard wasn't sticking because I had taken it up and down so much. The glitter on the die cuts is not bumpy. It's not super bumpy, but it's still, I had a hard time with those chipboards sticking on there. And just sort of figuring out how far I wanted it in. So there you go. This is what I settled on. I just switched out the little chameleon. I decided to make him blend in with the journaling spot, and then I just pointed out here that I had the ampersand and the this is us, and those are white on black or black on white. So I pulled up a tab that I just punched with I have a Fisker's Jenny Bolin tab punch that's I've had forever, and this is a scrap piece of paper that I punched out, and it's like a black and white or kind of black and or white and gray lined, and so that's what I decided to use for my date, and I'm going to put it in a spot where I feel like sort of forms a visual triangle with the other two black and white elements. Now I came back and decided it needed a little more texture and just kind of add to the like playfulness of the little kid kind of playfulness. So I'm making some bunches of thread. I decided to do it with the green that matches, and I think I'm just, you know, partial to green because it's one of my favorite colors. And I thought just keep everything extending to the sides. It kind of helped fill in the little gap between the rainbow and the layers behind the photo and the journaling block. And here we are with some stills. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Go check out the link to the Wild Hare Kit Club, the post. You can find also, we have Pinterest boards for the Wild Hare kits, and they're full of so much inspiration. So you should go check those out. And paper issues, they have lots of free cut files. This one's a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you here next time.